Hello everybody, it's Paul here with Left-Handed Knife Reviews. Today we're going to be doing kind of a continuation of one of our most popular videos. We did a previous video where we compared 3 Spyderco knives all around the $50 price point, the Tenacious, the Efficient, and the Astute. And today we're going to be looking at 3 Spyderco knives that are right above that $100 price point. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Native 5 Lightweight, the Paramilitary 3, and the Manix 2 Lightweight. Let's get right into it. First up, we're going to do our size comparison and our facts and figures at the same time. We're going to put some items on the table for size comparison, as you will see the actual dimensions of each knife up here on the screen. First up, we have our Dixon Ticonderoga pencil unsharpened. We're going to follow that up with our Benchmade bug out. We're going to bring in our Hogue Doug Ritter RSK Mark I G2. And we're going to finish that off with the Paramilitary 2 left-handed. All right, so let's take a look at all 3 of these knives, starting off with the blades. With both the Paramilitary 3 and the Native 5, you're going to have a 3-inch blade. With the Manix 2, you're going to have a 3.37-inch blade. The difference between the Native 5 and the Paramilitary 3 is going to be the actual length of the cutting edge. The finger choil on the Native 5 is a little bit larger, so the cutting edge on this knife is actually going to be approximately 2.44 inches, while your Paramilitary 3 is going to be slightly larger at a 2.58. Now, the finger choil is sizable on the Manix 2 as well, cutting that 3.37 down to a 2.88 inch long cutting edge. All 3 of these blades are flat ground blades. Both the Manix and Native blades are drop point and come in at a 0.13 inches thick. The Para 3 is a clip point blade, and it comes in a little bit thicker at 0.14. All of these blades are incredibly sharp right out of the box, as you would expect with a Spyderco. And the BD1N and S30V gave similar experiences. We are not experts when it comes to steel, but over the length of our review, these steels got our seal of approval for EDC tasks. Now, for the handles, all 3 of these knives, the handles are made out of the same material. This is Spyderco's bidirectional FRN. All 3 of these knives do come in a G10 variant at a more expensive price point. This reduces the weight on the knives substantially compared to their G10 variants. It also makes the knives feel a little bit cheaper in the hand. The bidirectional FRN is well designed, as the actual grooving on it is set up similar to that of like a non-slip shoe. So if you are in a situation where you do need a good amount of grip, this is a fairly good FRN. At the $100 price point, FRN is not necessarily something that we like to see in the handles of our knives. This is basically glorified fancy plastic, and while it does reduce the weight of the knife and makes the price a little bit more affordable, that can be a contributing factor on your decision to pick up one of these blades or not. Next up, we have our locking mechanisms. 3 knives, 3 very different locking mechanisms. On the Native 5, you're going to have a simple back lock. The Paramilitary 3 Lightweight does have the compression lock. And then the Manix 2 does come with a ball bearing lock, which operates very similar to that of an access lock. Now, with these 3 knives, there is a difference in the fidget factor of these knives. You can not flick out the Native 5 in our experience, and the close is kind of best done two-handed. With the Spyderco Paramilitary 3, flicks right open, shuts like a dream, and then with the Manix 2, flicks open, and then does close to drop shut for us. Next up, we'll talk about the carry on these knives. These 3 knives have very different feels to the carry. Your Paramilitary 3 lightweight is going to have a deep carry pocket clip, lanyard hole off to the side, and the reduction in weight on this one goes from 3.4 ounces for the G10 version to a light 2.4 ounces for the lightweight version. For the native, you're going from 3.7 ounces down to a 2.45 ounce. You have a non-deep carry pocket clip on this one with your lanyard hole right in the center. And then with the Manix 2, you have the wire clip that's not a deep carry clip. This knife weighs 3 ounces, down from the 5 ounces from the G10 variant. The carry on this is also much bigger than that of these two. These two in the pocket feel much smaller, their profiles are much thinner, and this blade sticks out from the handle a little bit farther than either the native or the Para 3. The native tucks in really well. The clip point blade on the Para 3 definitely reduces that feel towards the top. And then the drop point blade on the Manix just sticks up that much more than that of the other two. All right, let's talk about the ergonomics. All 3 of these knives actually have very good ergos to them. Let me pop them all open real quick. All of them you'll see have this little kind of curvature to the back of the handle. And that's going to put it right into that little pocket of the hand. And that's true on all 3 of these knives. They fit in the hand incredibly well. And part of the reason that is you have very dedicated spots for your fingers. Each one is going to have basically a front finger choil for choking up, a good secondary choil, and have a spot for your thumb to rest along the spine of the blade. It is much more pronounced on the Para 3 and the Manix 2, as you can see that there is actually a spot where the blade goes up that your thumb can rest on. Versus with the native, it's more of a flat. But as a whole, all 3 of these knives with extended use feel great in the hand and really have no hot spots to really worry about. All right, let's talk about everything that's left. 2 of these knives are ambidextrous knives. The Manix 2 with the ball bearing lock gives an identical experience for both left and right-handed individuals. You have a reversible pocket clip. It's basically an access lock style lock, so you're just pulling down equally on both sides, and the cutout for a left and right-handed individual are identical. So this is a fully ambi knife. Next up, you're going to have your native 5 back lock, same thing. You're pushing down on the back of the knife, same experience for a left and right-handed individual. This one is a 4-way reversible pocket clip, so it is fine for either left or right-handed, and your cutouts on both sides are, you know, overlapping the Spidey hole, but are identical, so you have an identical experience for both left and right-handed individuals. Para 3 is a compression lock. Compression lock in this configuration is built for right-handed people. When you open it and then you shut it, it is meant to be manipulated with your thumb while you maintain control over the knife. For a left-handed individual, you can do it two-handed, which is my preferred way of closing it, or you can put your thumb, push down, and allow it to drop that way, where this is the only thing that is holding onto the knife. It's a little bit more precarious. So it's a different experience for a left-handed individual. I would say that it detracts from it, so it is not the most left-handed friendly of the knives, for sure, but it is definitely operable. And that is everything that's left. All right, let's talk about our final thoughts and recommendations. So here we have 3 Spyderco knives that all come in right around $105. All of them are made out of Spyderco's bidirectional FRN and are lighter than their G10 counterparts. All three of them have really good blades out of acceptable steels. Now, when it comes down to recommending these, we recommend them for different things. The Manix 2 is a fantastic cutting tool made to be used every single day in hard use tasks, constantly cutting. The feel in the hand, overall shape of that blade really make it excel at hard use tasks. Now, the Native 5 also does very well at hard use tasks. I'm a big fan of a backlock when we're talking about hard use. Blade's a little bit shorter, and I find myself choking up more on this knife. Now, if we're talking about fidget factor, I think the Para 3 is a really good knife. And for EDC tasks, this is a fantastic blade. I really wish they did make this in a left-handed version. The right-handed compression lock still is not something that I prefer to use. When it comes to compression locks, I really love a left-handed compression lock like they have on the paramilitary too. But once you get this thing open and not worrying about it closing, the clip point blade is a great blade that Spyderco puts out. And the ergos on this blade are really fantastic. At the end of the day, if I could only have one, I would choose the Manix 2 lightweight. I like the Native and the Para 3 for very different things, but if I needed one to rely on and one to have in my arsenal, it would be the Manix 2. It's equally usable by both lefty and righties, and that little bit of extra blade it has over the Native 5 makes this the solid choice for me. Your money will not be poorly spent on either of these three blades. Thank you very much for joining me. Be sure to subscribe for more great knife content. We'll see you next time.